Owning your confidence without apology is one of the most powerful traits that make a woman stunning in her older age. Confidence is not something that comes from the opinions of others or from how society defines beauty. It is something that grows from within, through experience, through the trials you've faced, and through the lessons you've learned along the way. When you carry yourself with the kind of assurance that says you know who you are and you're not afraid to show it, that energy radiates more than any makeup or fashion choice ever could. People notice it in the way you walk into a room, the way you speak without hesitation, and the way you make choices without second guessing whether you're good enough, because deep down you already know that you are. This kind of confidence doesn't come overnight, and it doesn't come from pretending to be someone you're not. It is born out of authenticity, from years of peeling back the layers of insecurity and realizing that no one's validation can sustain you the way self-respect does. By the time you've reached a more mature age, you've seen enough of life to understand that the approval you chased when you were younger doesn't define your value. What makes you stunning is the way you've embraced your individuality, the way you no longer feel the need to compete or compare because you've discovered that the real competition is not out there, but within yourself. That realization changes the way you move, the way you carry yourself, and the way people perceive you. Owning your confidence also means being comfortable with the flaws and imperfections that life naturally brings. You're not trying to hide the signs of your journey. You're wearing them with pride because they tell your story. The lines on your face, the experiences in your heart, the resilience in your eyes. All of these are proof of a life lived fully. And when you own them unapologetically, you turn what the world calls flaws into features that set you apart. That kind of acceptance is magnetic because it teaches others that beauty is not about perfection. It is about presence. People are drawn to those who are at peace with themselves because that kind of energy feels safe, inspiring, and deeply attractive. Another part of confidence is the courage to speak your truth without fear of judgment. When you are younger, you might hold back your opinions, afraid of being misunderstood, but with age comes the wisdom to know that your voice matters. A stunning woman in older age doesn't shy away from saying what needs to be said, but she does it with grace, kindness, and clarity. She doesn't raise her voice to be heard. She speaks with such certainty that people listen. That kind of authority comes only when you trust yourself, when you know your worth, and when you've let go of the need to be liked by everyone. Confidence without apology is not arrogance. It is self-assurance that inspires respect rather than demands it. There's also something powerful about the way confidence shapes the choices you make. When you own it, you stop settling for less than you deserve, whether that's in relationships, in friendships, or in opportunities. You no longer chase people or situations that drain you because you've learned that protecting your energy is a form of self-love. And that self-love glows in the way you carry yourself. Others can sense when a woman is grounded in her worth, and that makes her unforgettable. It's not about being the loudest or the most glamorous person in the room. It's about having a presence so steady that people can't help but be drawn to it. Finally, confidence without apology is contagious. When you live this way, you don't just elevate yourself, you inspire others to step into their own light. Younger women look at you and see a model of what it means to age with strength and dignity. Friends feel encouraged by your presence because you show them that it's possible to be unapologetically yourself and still be deeply loved and respected. That kind of influence doesn't come from trying too hard or putting on a facade. It comes from the quiet, unwavering assurance that you are enough exactly as you are, and that belief is what makes you stunning in every season of life. Prioritizing self-care and health over approval is one of the most transformative shifts a woman can make as she grows older, and it is a defining factor in what makes her truly stunning. When you are younger, there is often this pressure to look a certain way, act a certain way, or live a certain way because you want acceptance, or validation from others. You spend time worrying about fitting in or living up to expectations that are not even your own. But with age comes clarity, and the moment you realize that approval will never fill you up the way genuine well being does, everything changes. You begin to value your body not for how others see it, but for how it serves you, carries you, and keeps you strong. You begin to take care of your mind, not so you appear put together to the outside world, but so you can live in peace within yourself. That shift from living for others to living for your own wellness is what makes your beauty timeless. There is a kind of glow that cannot be faked, and it comes from taking care of yourself consistently. Eating nourishing foods, staying active, and respecting your body is not about chasing a certain number on the scale or competing with someone half your age. It is about honoring the life you've been given by making choices that allow you to thrive. Movement, hydration, rest, mindfulness. These are no longer things you do to look good for a special occasion. They become a lifestyle that supports you every single day. When you commit to this kind of self-care, people notice not because you're shouting it out loud, but because your energy feels lighter, your skin looks brighter, and your spirit feels stronger. That is the kind of beauty that grows with time instead of fading. Self-care also extends beyond the physical. A stunning woman in her older age understands the importance of her mental and emotional health. She knows that stress, negativity, and toxic environments do more damage than any wrinkle ever could. So she sets boundaries, she chooses peace over chaos, and she invests in relationships that uplift rather than drain. She takes time to rest without guilt, to reflect without distraction, and to enjoy life without constantly seeking external permission. When you prioritize your own mental and emotional balance, it shows in the way you handle challenges, in the way you interact with others, and in the calmness you bring into every space you enter. That calmness is captivating because it makes people feel safe around you, and that presence is unforgettable. Another key part of prioritizing self-care over approval is that you stop chasing trends or exhausting yourself trying to keep up with unrealistic standards. You learn that true elegance is timeless, and it has less to do with what you wear and more to do with how you carry yourself. When you choose health over superficial approval, you're not trying to impress anyone anymore. You're simply expressing who you are. That authenticity becomes your style, and it shines brighter than any attempt to follow what everyone else is doing. People find you stunning because you're not trying to be anyone but yourself, and the way you honor yourself becomes a quiet statement of confidence. It's also about knowing when to slow down and listen to your body. In younger years, you may have pushed yourself too hard, running on empty, saying yes to everything because you didn't want to disappoint people. But as you grow older, you begin to understand that saying no is also a form of self-care. You choose rest without apology, you choose solitude without guilt, and you choose activities that nurture your soul rather than drain it. This level of intentional living doesn't just keep you healthier, it also makes you glow with a sense of balance and contentment that others cannot help but admire. And perhaps one of the most beautiful outcomes of prioritizing self-care is that it frees you from the exhausting cycle of people-pleasing. Approval becomes irrelevant because you've learned that no amount of validation can substitute for the peace of mind that comes from taking care of yourself. You become stunning not just because of how you look, but because of the energy you carry, the way you stand firm in your choices, and the way you radiate a sense of wholeness. That wholeness is magnetic, and it is what makes a woman unforgettable in her older age. Cultivating wisdom and emotional intelligence is one of the most defining qualities that make a woman truly stunning in her older age. Wisdom is not something that can be bought or faked. It is earned through experience, through seasons of struggle, through moments of joy, and through countless lessons that life has placed along the way. By the time you reach a certain stage in life, you have lived enough to understand that not everything requires your reaction. Not every battle is worth your energy, and not every opinion needs your agreement. That perspective alone sets you apart because while others may get caught up in the noise of the moment, You have the patience and insight to see the bigger picture. That calm, steady perspective is deeply attractive because it gives you a sense of grounding that others naturally look up to. Emotional intelligence is the companion to wisdom, and together they create a kind of presence that is magnetic. A stunning woman in older age knows how to read a room. She knows when to speak and when to listen, and she knows how to make others feel seen and understood. Instead of trying to dominate conversations, she adds value with her words, often saying less, but leaving a greater impact. People gravitate to her not because she demands attention, but because she offers something rare, understanding. That ability to manage her own emotions while also being attuned to the emotions of others makes her someone people trust, admire, and want to be around. Wisdom also shows up in the way you handle challenges. When you are younger, setbacks can feel like the end of the world, but with time and experience, you realize that storms pass, wounds heal, and growth often comes from the hardest seasons. That resilience becomes part of your character, and it shows in the way you face difficulties. You no longer crumble under pressure, you adapt, you learn, and you rise. This kind of strength, quiet but unshakable, makes you stunning because it is not just about surviving life, but about mastering it with grace. People see that in you, and it inspires them to believe that they too can get through their own battles. There is also something deeply beautiful about the patience that comes with cultivated wisdom. Instead of rushing decisions or acting out of impulse, you give yourself the space to reflect and respond thoughtfully. You don't waste time on drama or meaningless conflict because you know your peace is more valuable than winning an argument. This ability to remain composed while others are caught in chaos makes you unforgettable. Your calmness is not weakness, it is a strength that shows you are in control of yourself, and that is a rare quality that draws respect and admiration. Emotional intelligence also transforms the way you build and maintain relationships. By the time you are older, you know that true connection is not about constant approval, but about mutual respect and genuine understanding. You no longer tolerate one-sided relationships that drain you, and instead you invest in people who value and uplift you. You communicate with honesty, but also with empathy, knowing how to speak the truth in a way that heals rather than harms. This ability to balance firmness with compassion is what sets you apart and makes your presence feel like both a refuge and an inspiration to those around you. Another powerful aspect of wisdom is discernment. You learn how to separate what truly matters from what is temporary and unimportant. You don't waste energy chasing trends, gossip, or superficial validation because you know those things fade quickly. Instead, you anchor yourself in values, principles, and purpose. That kind of clarity gives your life depth, and people sense that when they are around you. It's not just what you say, it's the way you carry yourself with quiet conviction, as though you have learned the secret that peace and joy do not come from the outside but from within. And perhaps the most stunning thing about cultivating wisdom and emotional intelligence is the influence it allows you to have on others. You become the kind of woman people come to for advice, not because you have all the answers, but because you listen with empathy and respond with thoughtfulness. You lead not by control, but by example, showing others that it is possible to face life's ups and downs with grace, dignity, and strength. That ability to inspire without trying, to guide without forcing, is what makes you not only admired, but deeply respected, and it is one of the most powerful ways a woman can shine in her older age. Carrying yourself with grace and style is one of those qualities that becomes more powerful and more captivating as you grow older, and it is often the very thing that makes a woman unforgettable. Grace is not about perfection or trying to present yourself as flawless. It is about the way you move through life with dignity, poise, and intention. It is about walking into a room without demanding attention, but still commanding it because the way you carry yourself speaks louder than anything you could say. Style is not just about clothing or accessories. It is about the way you express your personality, your values, and your confidence through how you present yourself to the world. Together, grace and style become a form of communication, showing people who you are without you even having to explain it. Grace shows itself in the way you handle people and situations. Instead of reacting with anger or bitterness when things go wrong, you take a breath, you stay centered, and you choose responses that reflect your character rather than your mood. That steadiness is stunning because it's rare, and people are naturally drawn to someone who can maintain her composure when everyone else is losing theirs. Carrying yourself with grace also means showing kindness, even when it is not required, and showing respect, even when it is not returned. This doesn't mean allowing yourself to be mistreated. It means holding yourself to a standard of dignity that no one else can lower. When you live that way, you exude a quiet strength that leaves a lasting impression on everyone who encounters you. Style, on the other hand, is deeply personal. A stunning woman in her older age doesn't chase after every trend or try to compete with younger generations. She develops her own signature look that feels authentic and timeless. She wears what makes her feel good, what highlights her personality, and what reflects the life she has lived. Style is not just about clothing, it is also about posture, about how you walk into a space, about how you smile, and about how you hold conversations. When your style is rooted in self-respect, it becomes less about impressing others and more about celebrating yourself, and that self-celebration radiates confidence in a way no brand or label ever could. There is also a form of grace that comes from how you treat yourself. Carrying yourself with elegance means taking care of your body, paying attention to how you nourish it, how you rest it, and how you move it. It means making choices that honor your well-being rather than rushing through life without awareness. When you take care of yourself, it shows in your skin, in your energy, in your smile, and in the way you carry yourself day to day. That kind of intentional living creates a natural beauty that doesn't need filters or enhancements because it is real and lasting. Another dimension of grace and style is the ability to balance humility with confidence. You don't need to boast about your achievements or put others down to feel validated. Instead, your confidence shines through in your calmness, your words, and your presence. You can walk into a space without being the loudest person, yet still be the one everyone remembers because of the way you made them feel. True grace is about leaving people better than you found them, offering encouragement, listening attentively, and showing genuine interest in others. When you do that, people associate your presence with warmth and elegance, and that memory stays with them long after the moment has passed. Carrying yourself with grace also means knowing how to set boundaries without hostility. You can say no without being harsh, you can protect your peace without guilt, and you can walk away from situations that don't serve you without burning yourself out with explanations. That balance of strength and softness is one of the most attractive things about a woman who has grown into her own power. People admire it because it shows self-control and self-awareness, qualities that make you look not only confident, but deeply secure. And perhaps the most captivating part of carrying yourself with grace and style is the inspiration it gives to others. Younger women watch and see that aging doesn't mean fading away. It means stepping into a different kind of brilliance. Friends and family see in you a role model for how to live with dignity, how to embrace change, and how to honor yourself without losing your warmth. Your style becomes a reflection of your spirit, and your grace becomes a mirror of your strength. That combination is rare, it is powerful, and it is exactly what makes a woman stand out in her older age. Protecting your peace and boundaries is one of the most empowering and magnetic qualities that make a woman truly stunning in her older age. When you are younger, it is easy to give yourself away too freely, to say yes when you really mean no, to tolerate situations and people that drain you simply because you don't want to disappoint anyone. Over time, though, you begin to realize that constantly sacrificing your peace for the comfort of others only leaves you empty and unfulfilled. With age comes the wisdom to know that your energy, your time, and your emotional well-being are precious resources, and protecting them is not selfish, it is necessary. When you stand firm in your boundaries, you send a clear message to the world that you respect yourself and that respect makes others respect you as well. Peace is something that cannot be bought, and once you start prioritizing it, you see how valuable it really is. You stop allowing unnecessary drama into your life. You stop entertaining toxic people who bring chaos instead of calm, and you stop bending over backward to meet standards that were never yours to begin with. Protecting your peace means making deliberate choices about who you let into your circle, what conversations you engage in, and how you spend your time. You become selective not out of arrogance, but out of self-respect, because you know that the environments you place yourself in directly affect the way you feel, think, and live. That kind of intentional living radiates strength and confidence, and it makes you stunning because it shows that you have reached a level of maturity where you no longer need to explain or justify your worth. Boundaries are a major part of this. A woman who knows how to set and enforce boundaries carries herself differently. She doesn't allow others to manipulate her or guilt her into things that go against her values. She communicates clearly, she knows when to walk away, and she understands that saying no is not rejection, but self-preservation. This ability to stand firm in your boundaries shows strength, but it also shows self-awareness. You have learned through experience that not everyone deserves unlimited access to you, and that guarding your space allows you to pour into the right relationships without resentment. People are naturally drawn to someone who has this balance of openness and protection because it shows emotional maturity and self-control. Protecting your peace also means refusing to let external circumstances dictate your inner state. Life will always have challenges, disappointments, and unexpected turns, but the way you respond to them defines your peace. A stunning woman in her older age doesn't crumble at every inconvenience. She chooses her battles wisely and lets go of the things she cannot control. That calmness is powerful because it shows resilience, and resilience is captivating. Others see that you can face challenges without losing yourself, and that steadiness inspires admiration. Instead of being tossed around by the chaos of the world, you carry an inner stillness that makes people feel safe and secure around you. Another powerful aspect of protecting your peace is creating a lifestyle that reflects it. You spend time on the things that bring you joy, you prioritize rest and recovery, you nourish your body and soul with practices that strengthen you. Whether it's quiet mornings with coffee, time spent in nature, or simply choosing solitude when you need it, these are no longer luxuries, but necessities. You stop apologizing for needing space, and you stop explaining why you choose to step away from noise. That unapologetic prioritization of your well-being is deeply attractive because it shows that you value yourself enough to choose peace over pressure every single time. And the beauty of all this is that protecting your peace and boundaries doesn't just serve you, it impacts everyone around you. When you are calm, centered, and secure, you bring that same energy into your relationships, your family, and your community. You become an example of what it looks like to live with strength and serenity, and people notice. They admire not just the way you look, but the way you carry yourself, the way you protect your space, and the way you honor your own needs without guilt. That kind of energy is magnetic, and it is what makes a woman not only stand out, but remain unforgettable in her older age.